Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for episode 117. And the reservoir has been completed, as you can see, and I have dumped the contents of my tank into it, and as you can see, it's not even half full. It's probably about a fourth, I guess. Maybe almost a third. I put in a door here to avoid the gas or the floodgate filling this little access tunnel here. Now, ow. Quitted. Die. Ow. Come on, stupid skeletons. Now, we need to design a way of getting the fuel back out of the reservoir. And while we could do the same thing as we did with the oil reservoir, that's not going to be as efficient because the oil reservoir is of course a lot shallower than the new reservoir is. So I'm going to try something different just after I've had something to eat to stave off starvation. I think a taco. It's been long enough since I've eaten one of these. Tacos are very nice food. I need to get some more raw steak so I can make hamburgers. But yeah, so we're going to need a gas lift. Now, fortunately, since we have what's the word I'm looking for? Since we have pressure tubes down there already, fortunately we're not going to have to make any major expansions to our pressure system for this gas lift. Because while I could put it at the top of the reservoir like it is like I said, in the oil reservoir, that would require a lot of pressure and a lot of tubes to reach the bottom. What I'm going to do instead is put it on the side near the bottom of the reservoir and see if it can access the fluid that way. I don't actually know if this will work, but we are going to see. Now, I'm of course going to have to put the tank down there nearby the gas lift. Of course, to act as a buffer, and of course extra storage because it's a huge chunk of our fuel storage. And then I'm going to have to reprogram Maggie so that she can get fuel from this tank and get it to the boiler and the crucible furnace in the smeltery. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, from here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks down. So if I dig here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one to the side should breach the reservoir, and we now have a contact point, and I can't get up, into the reservoir. Come on, let's get out of here. Now I don't know if the reservoir or if the floodgate is going to try to fill this bit. Hopefully it won't. But regardless of that, so we have 5 blocks down, so we're going to put 4 tubes in here, because that will be enough to reach down into the to reach the gasoline. That's the word I was looking for. Now we're going to want to connect this to the tube network, and I of course wanted to connect to the top this was probably a mistake. Let's take that one away. Where did... I don't know where the tube fell, but whatever, I guess. Let's build up a tube tower there. We're going to connect that to the gas lift, and I need to climb upstairs to get more tubes. So let's see. Fortunately, I made quite a bit of these for some reason. Don't remember why. So I have connected the refinery to the reservoir. There we go. Now it's staying up. And I might want this in the ground. Maybe I should put this more to the side, like this, so it doesn't block this path here. That should do. And then I can have this come over here like this. And then I'm not going to remove this block. I'm going to do that, because otherwise it would connect to these tubes underneath and would probably leak air. So I'm going to put some covers I happen to have over here to make walking better, easier. I need 2 more tubes, and I'm probably going to want a dispenser upgrade here as well. We can assemble the tank here somewhere, I think over here will do nicely. Let's clear out some space here. And we're going to have... I think we're going to put it here-ish. Like this. And I'm going to put a valve in the middle bottom layer as I usually do, even though I'm probably not going to use that in this situation. But in case I want to expand the tank downwards, that will be useful. So now I'm just going to dig upwards. Let's block this area off so I don't get surprised. Now, how tall was the tank? Was it max height? I think it was the max height, which is 8 blocks. So we're going to make it that again. Let's see if that was correct. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1, 2, 3. That's fine. So need to dig away one more block up, which I can reach, fortunately. If that was not the old height of the tank, I can expand it to that anyway, because why not? Then we are going to connect the gas lift to the tank, of course, by a valve on this side. And we're going to put a valve on the side facing the elevator, this one, which is going to be the side that has the storage frame to tell the drones, or wait, no, I'm silly. We are not going to use frames. Because I'm going to tell Maggie exactly where the tank is. She's supposed to take gasoline from. So I'm going to have to write a program for moving fluids about, and I'm probably going to make it so that it is at least somewhat intelligent, so it doesn't just shuffle fluids about as much as possible, but it takes levels into account and such, and that will probably work fine. At least I hope so. So here's where the pipe will go. Going to put it like this. Then we're going to have the valve here. And it looks like I might be missing a few blocks. Let's see, 3, so maybe not. Actually, no. There we go. So that will form that. Now I'm going to need a valve on this side as well. somewhere, or here, somewhere where Maggie can get to it. So all we need now is to connect the tubes up, and we need a dispenser upgrade. And then the gas lift should start working for us. I can borrow a dispenser upgrade from one of these for now, because we don't need all of those right now anyway. Let's grab more of these to cover up the tubes in the floor. And then we go back down. And this should be all we need to get things working. So we connect that up there. And we connect this up here. We should have pressure flowing in here. And this has started extending its tubes. And we'll start pumping up gasoline. And put that in. We'll start outputting the gasoline into there. So there we have it. This will build up to close to 5 bars like the rest of the system. I should pull some electricity out here and put in some lights, probably, to keep mobs from spawning here. Can get rid of this. As you can see, I fixed the hole there. So now we have 1,152 buckets worth of extra storage, like before. So it's going to drain that from the reservoir to fill up this tank, of course. And then it's going to, once that tank is full, it's going to continue filling up the reservoir. So now we're going to find Maggie. Should be sitting around here. So Maggie's job have been to keep this tank full, and this boiler here supplied with 4 buckets of gasoline. Now, before I disassembled, or while I was emptying the old gasoline tank, I filled this up with 16 buckets of gasoline because I knew that it might take a while before I would get the supply system back up and running. So, and as you can see, it's used more than 4 buckets of gasoline, so I thought correctly. Now we are going to, so this was Maggie's old program. It's a logistics piece with an area. And we of course don't want that anymore. We are going to use import liquid, and then this we're going to set to a valve down in the tank, of course, which I haven't put in yet. We don't need a filter because we know that the tank only contains gasoline, so that's fine. Now we are going to want a liquid condition and another area piece. And I think I've never done this before. Okay. It's for a certain amount of liquid, it says. Or fluid, as it should say. I would assume that when it's checking fluid in a tank, this is millibuckets. So for the first one, we want 16,000 millibuckets, like that. Then we want another one of these that is going to be 4,000 millibuckets. So the idea is that it's going to do one of these checks for each of the targets. So the first one is going to be that tank over there for the crucible furnace. And if that contains less than the target amount, Maggie is going to execute a subroutine where she's going to export fluid into that tank. So we'll call this export to crucible. Is that how you spell crucible? No, it's with a C. Right. Good thing I checked. Yeah, that looks wrong now. So that will be export to crucible. And then we'll of course have export to boiler. And then we'll have exactly the same thing. Like that. So we're going to grab our GPS tool and then select this tank, and then go in here, set this area piece to this position, and then copy that over here. Then we are going to select one of the boiler blocks. We're going to select this position here and then copy that to here. And I actually want this on this side, because if this condition fails, this is checking for if it's equal to or more than 16,000 millibuckets, I assume. So if it's more equal to or more than 16, it will return false, and it will continue to the next condition. If it's false, did I say that correctly? If it's 16,000 millibuckets or more, it will return true and continue to the next piece because there's no destination for it here. If it's false, it will go into the subroutine and dump fluid into the crucible furnace, and the same thing for the boiler. And then we can add more targets here that if we get more things that need gasoline. Now we need the pickup location as well. So we are going to have to go down to the tank, and I almost forgot, we also need another valve, which I might have in here. That's a solid heat generator. I think I put the other tank parts in here. Yes. We have a spare valve, fortunately. So now we're going to go down here again. Turn on the night vision. And then we can put this... Do I want it here? I guess so. Will be slightly more easily accessible there. Then we can put the gauge here so we can see the bottom layer. See how full it is if we need to. So there we go. Now we're going to select that block, so that's where the valve is. And then we're going to go back up to the programmer and finish setting Maggie up for the first run. So get in here and let's see, this one is what we want. Select this tool here and there we go. And this should work. So we have all of the required pieces, which is fortunate. So now we can try this out. So I'm going to put this on, put Maggie down so we can see what she does. We're going to debug. Oh. Well, that's not the way I expected her to fly to get there, but okay then. Let's see if we can make it there before her to see which way she comes from. Though she should be coming from the tunnels, of course. So that's the only way that isn't blocked off, and I'm talking about the tunnels in this direction. I might want to make a more direct way down here. Ow. There she is. Yeah, so she's using the tunnels, which isn't the straightest way to get here. Whoops. I guess she's not doing anything because these both evaluate to false. One condition evaluated to false or true. Why do I keep saying false? Yeah, so these evaluate to true. Maybe maybe I want for her to go into standby and wait a couple of minutes before trying to check the status, so she doesn't check constantly. But I don't know. I don't think it matters all that much. But I might I might do that off camera. When I get the opportunity. Because I'm going to need her to empty her tank before I collect her, or I'm going to lose 16 buckets of gasoline. Yeah. I might do that. I was going to have to fill in this hole where the old tank used to be. So, I think that will do it for this episode. So, I will see you in the next one.